Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of No Title Needed, right here at the beautiful Feinstein's Cabaret at the Hotel Carmichael in Carmel, Indiana, US of A. I'm Cynthia Collins.
And I'm Scott Osborne.
Yes, we are your co-hosts here. And today our guest is Mr. Arron Stanton. Arron, how are you?
I'm amazing.
You are amazing.
Yes. You're amazing.
I was going to say that.
I'm amazed by your amazingness.
Took the words right out of my mouth. Arron, are you the founder of Synergize?
I am. I say it found me, but I found it.
Okay. So
we found each other.
Yeah, our Synergize. Lay it on us.
Yeah.
This company's been around for quite some time now.
We're in our 6th year, yeah.
6 years, okay. So what is it you do with Synergize? And what purpose? Actually, I'd say, what purpose does it fill in a community?
Yeah, so the purpose is much easier for me to explain than the what we do. The what we do, I'm still kind of figuring it out, learning it, discovering it. It's always evolving. But the purpose is still pretty much intact, the same. So the purpose is to help people, so individuals, organizations, and communities to experience a more connected, united, prosperous human experience. So we believe that relationship with one another is the gift that we can find when we meet one another. And whether you're a professional or an artsy person or a parent or a spouse or whatnot, that the roles that we often play in one another's life and what comes from that relationship, we know that is awesome, but we don't think that that's the greatest part. We think that the relationship itself is the greatest part. And I spent a lot of years just like seeking and searching for relationship in the professional marketplace. And as much as I love networking, like networking is one of my favorite things to do in the whole world. But a lot of times I started to feel like the purpose of networking a lot of times was to determine what we can get from one another. And with Synergize, it started because for a few years in my networking journey, I truly just wanted to know people and learn people and understand people. And the goal I was looking for was not what comes from the relationship, but the goal that I was looking for was simply relationship. And so as I started developing friendships and relationships with people, the people around me, it's just kind of inspired me to this thought of what if the purpose of networking wasn't transaction based, but what if it was a friendship forward approach? What if when we get together to network, our objective is to discover authentic, supportive, impactful friendship with one another, and with the question of, could the relationships we build actually make a difference in the world bigger than ourselves? So we just kind of took the traditional networking model and we reimagined it with taking a friendship forward approach rather than a transaction forward approach. And we coined ROI. We turned it from return on investment to ripple of impact. So we try to come together and work together to maximize our ripple of impact rather than individually just looking at our return on investment. And it's that the theory, we were talking a little bit before the show about theory to practice. So the theory of all rising tide raises all boats. That's a great theory. Well, what does the practice look like to where you get to experience this theory of a rising tide raises all boats? And to me, the ripple of impact rather than return on investment mentality is kind of that theory of rising tide raises all boats put into practice through networking.
And how do you synergize?
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you go about doing this? I mean, I know you guys have an office.
Sure.
In Carmel.
Yep.
Like, see that cute little house.
Yep.
Corner of Rangeline and Walnut.
Rangeline and
Is it Walnut?
Elm. Yeah.
It's a tree.
It's a fantastic spot.
It's a tree.
Love
but it's a cute location.
Right. Yeah.
And the house is cute. How do you go about doing this then? I mean, do you go into corporations? Do you have people come to you?
All of the above.
Okay.
So I say the biggest part is that's where the discovery comes in. So like with you asking me, like, so how do you go about achieving this?
Mm-hmm.
I'm 6 years into this journey, and I still am asking that same question. How do I go about achieving this? So I think a lot of it is not predetermining and constructing my own narrative as to how it must be achieved, but being open to the idea of I'm forever a student. I have this mentality of like, I'm forever a student. And there are certain things that I know now that I have learned from being a student, but I'm never the teacher. I feel like we're all on our individual journeys we're learning, growing, and discovering how do we go about achieving the things that we desire to achieve. And so we have put some things in place, like we have networking events. One of our networking events is called the 430 Meetup. And what we do at that event is every month we give our platform to a nonprofit. So we bring together our members and people from the community and a nonprofit and any of their supporters and friends, and we do an event to just celebrate them. We create a friendship-forward networking environment where people can just come as you are. You don't have to have a perfected sales pitch. You don't have to have an idea of what you want to get out of it. Just come with curiosity and a mindset and a heart set to discover people and to discover what the outcome might be of friendship. And then we give about 15 minutes during the middle of the networking event to a nonprofit, because we believe that nonprofits truly are the champions and the heroes in our communities. They're the ones that there's a purpose deep within them that they are choosing to live out and to chase, even when it doesn't make sense for all the traditional reasons, even if they never receive a dime for it, even if they never achieve a greatest level of success that maybe they could be capable of, but they're doing it because they feel kind of called to do it. So what we try to do is we give a platform so those who feel called to make a difference in the community that's greater than themselves, we come together, give them a platform, and try to help them maximize their impact.
Right.
So
I got to see one of those, and that place was packed, and the message was received. It was a fantastic thing that you're doing for these companies.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know that everybody is seeking for that type of environment, but I do know that those who are searching for that type of networking environment, when they find it, it becomes transformative.
Well, because it's more comfortable.
It
Right?
Yeah,
All right,
natural.
we got to wrap it. Hold on. We got to take a break.
Okay.
We're not done, but we're going to take a break, and we will be back. Don't touch that dial with our guest, Arron Stanton. Hey everyone, we're back. No title needed with our guest, Mr. Arron Stanton of Synergize. We were talking on the break real quick about how these networking events make people feel a little more comfortable the way you do it.
Yeah.
Rather than, I'm going to network and glad hand with everyone.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, does it? Do you think? I mean, there's a comfort level there?
I think so. Those that crave authenticity, I believe that Synergize is a space where if the rhythm or the posture of connecting with one another is honestly through authenticity, I think Synergize is that place where it feels very natural, very unscripted, and very authentic and comfortable. But we do live in a society where all of us as humans are creatures of nature or habit or whatnot. Creatures of habit. This book right here says creatures of habit, right? So
It's right there for you.
It is. I know. I was like, I just need to have my eyes open. So we are creatures of habit, right? So I do believe that, like, if my journey has been, I get the right degree, get the right job, start the right, put all this into that. And the pattern that I have gotten there has been sharing the transactional element of what I do and the business that I represent. Synergize might be a little uncomfortable because people might ask questions and want to know you, and it's not really a scripted or a rehearsed or a perfected.
Like Scott, he works out great for these things.
Scott is somebody who
Because you're a natural person. So you would probably have...
I've had quite a few experiences over there, and I've had a great time every time.
Right,
Yeah.
because you get to know him.
Yes.
Right. That's what you want.
Yes.
And he's not like my 30-minute elevator speech.
No.
He's just like, hey, here I am.
You could ask Scott the same question every day for a year, and he would probably answer it slightly different because he's free flow. Like he's just
free flow.
He expresses himself however he authentically feels it at the moment. And I do believe that like sometimes networking doesn't give us always the space for that because we know which questions are coming. So we already have our 30 seconds kind of perfected. We know which 30-second pitch we've given that didn't get a contract, and we know which one we've given that did get a contract. So a lot of times we are seeing people as, as just like the last person or just like the next person, in a networking environment. It's what do you do? What industry are you in? What profession? What type of professional are you? And we're trying to determine, is this somebody that I can do business with or somebody that I likely won't do business with? And then a lot of times we fill up our pipelines, which I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. But for someone like me, who I just want to build friendships and to know each other on a real personal level and to add value to the people around me, I might add value to them professionally, but I might add value to them personally. And so I feel like the personal depth is just as important as the professional depth, and not a lot of networking creates spaces for that. So at Synergize, we try to create a space where the personal depth of relationship can be achieved for those who want to achieve that.
All right. I got a few questions for you. So when it comes to your first interaction, what is your favorite icebreaker to use to kind of build that comfort level?
Yeah. So I'll tell you mine. I'm not going to tell you that it should become yours, right? But mine is what's most authentic to me. So when I meet somebody, how do I desire to meet them in my most authentic form if I could choose? So my first question a lot of times is, are you a hugger or a handshaker?
That's great.
And if they say hugger, I'm like, me too. And I meet with a hug because friendship's what I'm looking for. I hug my friends, and I have this idea of like, hey, every person that I meet is a new opportunity for a friendship. So it's almost like if what I'm trying to achieve is achieved, would I be happy? Would I be like, oh my gosh? So if I was looking for a $1 billion client, and I'm meeting them, and we've done all of that, and then the exchange is, hey, I just signed the contract. If somebody signed a $1 billion contract with me and money was what I was after, would I be like, wow, you are awesome? And would I hug them? Yeah, absolutely. So friendship and just a real relationship is what I'm looking for. So when I get to meet somebody, I'm almost like a new friend. So I go in for, my hope is like I get to hug them. So I feel like the first icebreaker, a lot of times we talk about the first impression, making the perfect first impression. Well, I believe that your most authentic self is the best unique first impression, because you're presenting a one of one to somebody. Mm-hmm. And it's not a variation of you that's trying to fit a mold that they might be looking for. It's just you're allowing them to experience you in your most authentic form. So the way I break the ice a lot of times is, hey, are you a handshaker or a hugger? And if they say a handshaker, awesome. I shake their hand and I say, maybe one day we'll get to a hug, because that's what. And even then, sometimes people are like, actually, I am a hugger. I'm like, oh, well, shoot, let's just start it now. Let's start. Hey, are you a handshaker or a hugger? They're like, yeah. A hugger. I'm like, let's go. And you almost give people the permission to reintroduce themselves as their most authentic self, because you're the one that's willing to lead that way.
Right.
But if somebody's a handshaker and you're trying to force them to like, you've got to hug me, then it's going to be like, hey, that person doesn't accept who I am.
Turn off.
Yeah. So
along those lines, that actually leads into my next question nicely. What is that difference between a social interaction and a friendship to you in the personal as well as in the business platform of Synergize?
Yeah. So I believe that relationship has depths. So a lot of times information leads to intimacy. So when you look at the depths, you've got a public depth, which is Well, let me just, you've got a public depth, a social depth, a personal depth, and then there's a transparent depth. For those who have faith, there's another depth called the divine. Not everybody shares that same depth, but those that have faith, there's a divine. So the public depth is things that I can know about you, or you can know about me, and it doesn't require any human relationship. That would be my title, the name of my company, a bio that I put online, anything that I put on Facebook or social media. So that is the public depth. The social depth is where shared interest comes in. So you're into art, I'm into art. That shared interest allows us to revolve with one another because we have a relationship with interest and a shared interest, but not with one another. Personal depth of relationship is where my interest is getting to know you as a person, and that is where information and intimacy comes based on a human-to-human experience.
Right.
So within the professional marketplace, a lot of times it's easy to learn somebody's title, learn somebody's role, learn what they do, which is a lot of times that public surface depth of relationship. And when you meet people face to face, you have the opportunity to begin a relationship on a personal depth, but we're creatures of nature. So a lot of times we'll have the opportunity to begin on a personal depth, but we have fear or shame or worry that maybe we won't be accepted at personal or vice versa. So we jump to communicating with one another based on a public depth rather than personal. So
Real quick, what is where do you have these? Where do you have these events? You say they are networking.
They are networking.
They are networking events. But where does this happen?
We've done them here at Feinstein's.
Okay.
We've done them upstairs at Carmichael. We do them 3-up rooftop bar as a place that we've done them frequently.
Okay.
Sometimes we do them at the Synergize Hub, where our office is at. That Turner Building.
Yes.
Got a bunch of cool cars there as well. So we try to find a variety of places around town, around the community.
How do people look up your company? Obviously, you have
we have a website.
probably have a Facebook page and everything. And
Facebook, website.
just go to Synergize.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep. Go to synergizeindy.com.
Okay.
And that will give people a look at the public persona of a lot of things.
Right.
And then by coming to an event or reaching out, asking, hey, can we grab coffee and get to know each other? We get to begin that kind of personal depth of relationship as well.
Fantastic.
We have to wrap it up.
Thanks for being here.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Shake your
Oh,
hand.
yeah. We'll hug off camera. So maybe.
We might. Thank you for joining us for another episode of No Title Needed. Cynthia Collins.
Scott Osborne.
We're here at the beautiful Feinsteins. Come on over, see a cabaret. They have a huge variety of shows here in this beautiful cabaret space. Do yourself a favor, come on over, get some great drinks, some nice nosh, and see some really exceptional entertainment. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time. Thank you, Arron Stanton
Thank you
of
for having me.
Synergize.
Of course.
Thank you.